Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having a great day. As always, a free way to support the channel is by leaving a thumbs up, by subscribing, by leaving a comment, by telling me what you had for breakfast and or what you plan on doing during the rest of the day, as long as it's not too personal. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Never a dull moment within the cryptocurrency space. Gonna be starting off as usual. Who says that? With price stuff. There's a lot of stuff happening with the prices and a lot of people talking about where the prices are going. Prominent on-chain analyst Willy Woo has revealed that he believes the price of Bitcoin is going to at least 200,000 based on a recent upward movement on the top capitalization of his price model. Wonderful. Wu shares the change on Twitter, pointing out that he now believes a $100,000 price target is too low and that Bitcoin is instead on track for $200,000 minimum. The top cap metric was created by Willy Woo and is the cryptocurrency market capitalization multiplied by 35. He said, 100K price target's too low, and there's a little very light chart that he has right there. Historically, the cryptocurrency's market cap has matched market tops, which would mean Bitcoin could hit 200,000 and then correct significantly after the bull run that takes it there. Looking at Wu's charts, the metric has indeed matched several market tops. Once again, going to throw this in there for those of you who do not know. No market, none of them go up forever. So at some point, we are going to see the parabolic move that I assume we're all waiting for, where Bitcoin's going to either hit above 100K, 150K, 200K, 288,000, depending on which chart you've been looking at. And then there will be a correction. There will be a movement down after we have really skyrocketed higher. And I mention that because I know that there are a lot of new people. Hello out there. And I don't want anyone to be surprised when we hit these euphoric numbers and then prices begin to tumble and you go, where'd my money go? So just so you are completely aware, this happens every single boom and bust cycle. It happens over and over. We've had multiple. It also happens within the stock markets as well, but ours happens a lot quicker. So the amount of price predictions that have been rumbling around even in the past week, and I think it's even smaller than that, is quite fascinating. A lot of people have been going through their charts. They've been seeing that the charts that we had since 2019, the middle of 2020, have all but come true, if you will, hitting certain price points and where things are going to be going. So now we're kind of at that point where the numbers are getting, I don't want to say the word silly, but I think everyone's trying to throw their hat into the ring to simply say, hey, look at what I said. So if it does come true, then they can kind of gain notoriety off of that. Not that Willy Woo is trying to do that, but you understand what I'm saying because there are far too many of them. It says Bitcoin price consolidation for a major push is 40K on the cards. This one says Bitcoin price prediction, Bitcoin BTC top to 42,000 likely. You know how I feel about news that says things that are going to happen, like tomorrow it'll be bright outside in the morning at like 8 o'clock your time. It's kind of like whatever. We're getting far too many. We never used to have this many before. I'm not really sure what it is. People talking about, yeah, Bitcoin's definitely going to go back to 40,000. And it's like, you did it, bro. You definitely predicted where we're going to go because we've definitely been there before. There's no real barrier in us hitting that number anymore. People were like, $895,000 by March. I'd be like, whoa, okay, that's definitely a prediction. But we're getting a lot of these. It says Bitcoin is on the brink of seeing a rally to all-time highs as it taps a critical level. Bitcoin is currently within this like tight triangle, pyramid, pinnacle type thing. I think we broke slightly below it a couple of hours ago, but that doesn't mean that we're not going to move back up. We've seen this before nearly every single time. You'll see it as well if there's any charts somewhere around here. There's always like a triangle movement, like a tight trading range that we end up getting into. And then we either break up or we break down. So it's either the prices move upward after the pinnacle or start to move down. But then at some point, we end up hitting the other bottom where we were before, the other price bottom, and then begin to trend sideways until we hit another pinnacle, and then we either go up or down. It's just how it works. And at some point, we skyrocket back up. Everyone is like, whoa, I did not see this coming. This is the first time that Bitcoin has ever moved up in price. Everyone's very euphoric, and then the entire trend continues. It's just all, it's not even cyclical. It is cyclical. I got that part. But it's like it's kind of like a roller coaster. Like, you know how like a roller coaster has like a finite amount of space? Like, imagine going up on a roller coaster and then not expecting the roller coaster to go down. And then when you're down in the roller coaster, you don't expect it to like spin or loop. And then when you start like ticking back up, you're like, wait, we're going back up. It's kind of like that, but it's the same loop over and over. Like I said, that's why roller coaster has a finite amount of space. It's almost like our, not metrics, but cycles are just simply repeating themselves. People keep acting surprised as if they never knew that we were able to do these things. What's this one? It says Bitcoin breakout imminent. This was said by a hedge fund manager as analyst targets $48,000 monthly close. So we are currently in the situation where everyone's making end of the month predictions. It's already, the first month is gradually getting to the point where it's almost over. I hope this year doesn't fly by. Actually, that's a lie. I want to get to the summer so I can go and have fun. But yeah, so we have, I don't know if the next tab is it as well, but we're getting a lot of 48,000 by this month, 60,000 by next month, and you kind of get the hint. Everyone's really just talking about where the next moves, like the major moves are for Bitcoin. Here we go. So this is how Bitcoin may strike 64,000 by the end of February. Don't even have to read through it. As Ethereum breaks new all-time high, analyst says Ethereum price will quickly go to $5,000. So Ethereum breaking past $1,400 was apparently a huge shock for a lot of people. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's simply the people who are writing these things or people within the cryptocurrency space who just love surprises, and maybe they're like, what? I can't believe it did it. The amount of activity that we're seeing on Ethereum is literally unprecedented. So it only makes sense that people who are buying up Ether, locking away Ether, or gobbling it up so that they can actually stake, and all this stuff happening on DeFi is going to cause a price rise. But the fact that we broke past 1,400 has a lot of people like, I can't believe it. And now these price predictions are starting to come out for Ethereum as high as it can possibly go or where it's going to be. I think this is it even on this one? I'm not really sure. I don't even know. It might even be the next tab. Is it? Yes. This is probably the most interesting one to date that we've had about Ethereum. It says Ethereum is now the second major cryptocurrency from the last bull run to break its former all-time high. One author and economist, however, claims that this is only the beginning of the top altcoin following in Bitcoin's footsteps and will soon rally to 20,000 US dollars, mimicking the epic 2017 bull run. For those of you who don't get the numbers, in 2016, Bitcoin's price was 800, 900. Beginning of 2017, it was 900 to 1,000. And at the end of the year, it skyrocketed to $20,000. Ethereum's price at the end of last year was $700, $800, $900. And we got to this year, so it's the same movements. And this is where they're kind of getting their stuff from. It says, here's the theory behind the lofty price target. More than 10 times the current price. Ethereum this week, all-time high, $14.19 on Coinbase, January 2018. And it fell back to $80 in the years following. And it's now only trading at that former level. An economist, trader, and mathematician believes that Ethereum will follow Bitcoin's footsteps to $20,000. D.H. Taylor based the target on Metcalfe's law and said, according to a summary, Metcalfe's law can map the rate of growth of a network using the square of the number of its users. He said internet usage, Facebook, and Bitcoin can all be mapped using Metcalfe's law, including the price moves of Bitcoin, end quote. Using Metcalfe's law, the author claims that Ethereum will repeat what Bitcoin did and move up to $20,000 per Ether. It is definitely doable. I don't know if it's going to happen by the end of this year. The craziest price prediction that we got for Ethereum this year was around $8,000. And I can definitely, if Bitcoin ends up going parabolic, and I mean like a really strong movement upward, but I think even at this point, we may have hopefully, this was spoken about since 2017, gotten to the point where some coins begin to move on their own, if you will. Bitcoin is a heavy magnet, so if Bitcoin falls down, everything is going to down a bit as well. But when it comes to the actual movements of Ethereum, the ecosystem for Ethereum should have grown enough that it's to the point where it can actually make its own moves based on what the other coins built on top of it are also doing and how much Ethereum is actually being locked up and all that other stuff. But yeah, as you can see, the numbers are kind of all over the place. But to be fair, at the beginning of 2017, if you had told me that Bitcoin at $900 was going to $20,000, I probably would have also laughed. At the beginning of 2017, Ethereum was $8, and it went up to 1,400. So the numbers also seemed a bit wacky at the time, and then lo and behold, it actually ended up happening. But I think the Ethereum has a very bright 5-6 years ahead of it. Ethereum really needs to upgrade to really get going. We know that we're on phase 0, but if we get to a point where Ethereum can handle even 1,000 transactions per second, because it's currently at 15, and we got news before that because of all the backlog on the system, transaction fees have been rising. If they can do 1,000 transactions per second, the price will exponentially increase. Once again, this is, over the course of a couple of years time frame. If we end up getting to that amazing 10,000, 100,000 million transactions per second, well, then Ethereum has a very strong future as a world computer ecosystem, whatever the heck they're trying to build with it. Anyway, that's all the price news, if you will. There was some random stuff about XRP going down, but the whole market went down, so the news just really didn't make any sense. There was news about, I think, Cardano looking like it was going to try and reach 40 cents, but that just seems obvious because if the market goes up, Cardano also has to try and go up as well to 40 cents. So it's kind of this like redundant, like water's wet kind of news. Anyway, that's all the price news, at least for now. And without further ado, let's move on. So for those of you who didn't hear me sprinkling that throughout the beginning, the crypto market went down. Not a big down, but like anywhere from like 2 to 5% across every single coin. And people were like, oh my gosh, what happened? I can't believe that prices went down. According to the news that I could find at the time of me making this video, it apparently has to do with a woman named Janet Yellen, who basically said that she has concerns that cryptocurrencies are being used for illicit activities, that they're being used for this, they're being used for that, and therefore, not that a clamp down has to happen, but she would like for more regulation. This is the same exact mimic that we've heard from Christine Lagarde, and this is the same exact mimic that we've heard in 2017. These things are going to continue to happen for a number of actual reasons. I didn't even have to read through it because I'm tired of reading stupidity, so I'm just going to let you gaze over it if you decide to do so. This was quite popular news, as one might have imagined. Whenever we get anyone in a powerful position, who comes forward and says, Bitcoin bad, I don't like cryptocurrencies, yay, long live the US digital dollar, and any type of thing like that, of course it ends up making the news. Part of the problem is that we've heard this for years. If you have not been here for years, let me tell you right now, this is not new at all. We've heard this for a very long time, that cryptocurrencies are evil, that they're being used for this. Remember the situation in 2018 where I remember everyone had a really good laugh. There was someone who mentioned that Bitcoin was being used by ladies of the night, is probably the best way of putting that. And then, once again, the internet is amazing because you can always just find what you're looking for. This is an actual article from the New York Times. It says, Bitcoin has lost steam, but criminals still love it. Of course, sure, why not? It says, Bitcoin is still popular among currency speculators, and illicit activity accounts for only 1% of all Bitcoin transactions. We've had news over the last couple of years because many different companies, agencies have all come forward basically saying it's being used by the worst people in the world. You got to watch out. There was even an article years ago that said that they believed that 1 out of every 4 transactions was being used for something illicit, which is a lie. So we have companies like Chainalysis and Sentiment and all these other names that I'm not going to even name out loud who actually track transactions on these blockchains. And we know that Bitcoin is pseudonymous. It is not anonymous. So if you really dig hard, you can track where these transactions are going. And these companies, well, many people in the cryptocurrency space don't exactly care for, actually came out and they were like, yeah, it's actually 0.05% of all transactions. 0.005. So 0.5% of transactions are actually being used in some illicit way. And the governments were like, no, that's wrong. It has to be much higher. There's a new documentary on Netflix. If you have not seen it, if you have the time, I think we all have the time right now. It is called, I'm not sure I can actually say it out loud because algorithm. It is called CRACK. You should be able to find it quite easily. It is about the events that happened within the 1980s, within that thing that I just spelled out, and basically how time is fascinating because all these things were recorded. We can see now, hindsight, that all the things that they said about this situation that happened in the 80s and the early 90s was basically all falsified and was actually, how do I say this? Mainly the government had a very big part in that situation taking place. And they do it because anyone who's trying to get into power, anyone who's currently in a position of power, they always look for a common enemy. And at that time, it happened to be that word. That was the common enemy. That's what got people elected. So the thing right now, at least for the most part, is the economy. It's the economy's not doing well. We got to make the economy better. How do we make the economy better? We got to keep pushing money into the market. How do we make sure that the US dollar, who was predicted by banks to start falling down, how do we make sure that that survives? We have to make a digital version of something else that people around the world are now waking up to that's actually better than the US dollar. Well, how do we make sure that our digital dollar is better than Bitcoin, which other people are rapidly, not even slowly, rapidly getting into around the world? Well, we have to say that it's being used for very bad things. Once again, mimicking exactly what happened in the 80s and 90s. Anyway, if you have time, really watch the documentary because it's an eye-opener for life and also to realize that not everything is as it seems. And this is why I make sure that when there is news like this that I come forward to tell you, not only, first of all, this person, Janet Yellen, is not the first person to say something like this. She will not be the last. We are going to hear this when Bitcoin hits 50,000. We're going to hear when Bitcoin hits 100,000, 200,000. As Bitcoin is on the cusp of taking over the US dollar, there are going to be people in the streets holding up signs saying, down with Bitcoin, we need the US dollar. It's just something that's actually going to happen. So as far as it stands right now, the entire reasoning as to why Bitcoin fell, or the entire market fell, is apparently this. I don't believe it. I think it's simply a normal market cycle. I think it's simply people figuring out once again how to lower prices in the market so they can get in at a better price. Because once again, if this currency looks like it's poised to become a world reserve currency, you want to be able to get as much of it as you possibly can, which I assume companies, corporations, and institutions are also doing. And even more so that you're going to see as we go forward in the video. So anyway, the news is, someone said something bad about Bitcoin and the price fell, and that apparently is the idea behind it. But we know that it's not. Even when you look at the actual usage of the US dollar and the euro or the yen for actual illicit activities, or even gold, art, jewelry. But we're the new kid on the block, so we have to be targeted and pointed at because that's just, what they do. Anyway, that's the price dropped Yellen news. And without further ado, let's move on. Next up, in unsurprising news, in another throwback to the 2017 bull market, a major U.S. bank fund manager survey, or FMS, has put Bitcoin at the pinnacle of positive investor sentiment. According to Reuters, 36% of respondents identified a long Bitcoin bet as the most crowded trade ahead of long tech in January 2021, according to a survey from Bank of America. January's report marks the first time that long tech has not been number one in the BOF, Bank of America's Fund Manager Survey, since October 2019. The result also marks a steady increase in a positive investor sentiment for Bitcoin, seeing as Bitcoin was third on the list back in December 2020. So investors are now thinking of longing Bitcoin. This is why I said, I was like, this is not surprising news. I guess what's surprising is that long tech was always at the front. People wanted to go long bets, longevity on the idea that tech was going to continue doing well, and now they're switching to long Bitcoin. I just assume these people have read. All it takes is the reading of about, not even one, about 3 articles to really hit it, bring it home that the US dollar is not going to do well. We still have indications that there are going to be multiple, I almost said priority checks. What are they called? Stimulus checks this year. Multiple. Not one, not two, multiple. And you have to print money to be able to create those. US dollar, job. So the fact that people are longing Bitcoin is not surprising. If Bitcoin continues to rise, we're going to see more momentum in people longing Bitcoin. And a lot of the other articles that I've kind of read on my own, maybe I've mentioned it once or twice here as well, a lot of articles saying that this bull run that we're currently in is very different from the one from 2017. The 2017 one was more of this like euphoric, like really weird, like stars in your eyes, like, man, I'm going to get rich kind of thing. But now it's like institutions and companies and corporations. And I know I keep saying these words over and over, but you have to understand why they're significant, because they're the ones buying. They're not buying with the intent of selling immediately. They are buying for very long-term holds. If we're getting predictions that Bitcoin's price this year might hit 200,000 or that in 5 years might hit 1 million, this is why they are holding it. It's no longer a short-term bet. It is a let's see where Bitcoin goes over the next 40 years, which is also going to be quite interesting when I read you one of the last stories in this video. So, anyway, yes. Not surprising that people are going to be longing Bitcoin, because if there's any indication, continued indication from these banks, think of the idea of Bank of America also running a survey with managers as to what they're going to be longing in the market. And they all say Bitcoin. You understand where all this is going. I don't even have to continue saying that. Anyway, so that's the long Bitcoin news, because, logic. In news that for some reason was news that I thought was already news, but apparently it's not news, so here's the news. In a recent interview with Bloomberg TV, Scott Menard, Global Chief Investment Officer of Guggenheim Partners, a global investment and advisory firm with more than $295 billion in assets under management, they spoke about Bitcoin. Guggenheim Investments is the global asset manager and investment yada yada. We have a lot of money. We focus on return and risk needs of insurance companies, corporate and public pension funds, sovereign wealth funds, endowments, foundations, wealth managers, and rich people. On the 27th of November 2020, according to a U.S. SEC post-effective amendment filing, it became known that one of the Guggenheim investment funds fixed income mutual funds was considering investing in Bitcoin. Per data from the Financial Times, this fund was launched on the 30th of November 2011. I assume, okay, the fund was launched, and I was like, that's a long time. Has 4.9 billion, wonderful. The SEC filing, known as SEC POSAM, post-effective amendment, shows a company registered with the SEC to do the prospectus. The filing stated cryptocurrencies, also referred to as virtual currencies and digital currencies, are digital assets designed to act as a medium of exchange. The Guggenheim Macro Opportunities Fund may seek investment exposure to Bitcoin indirectly through investing up to 10% of its net asset value in Grayscale, a privately offered investment vehicle that invests in Bitcoin. Then on the 16th of December, after Bitcoin's price had finally broken through 20,000, they talked positively about Bitcoin on Bloomberg. The interview stated that by the Guggenheim CIO being asked by Scarlett Fu, Bloomberg's TV senior editor, about the Guggenheim Fund, that it invested. He said, to answer the question, Scarlet, clearly Bitcoin and our interest in Bitcoin is tied to Fed policy and rampant money printing that's going on in terms of our mutual fund. You know, we are not yet effective with the SEC, so you know we're still waiting. Of course, I don't even have to read anymore because it's a very long article. I've scrolled through so much of it, and here I am. The news being Guggenheim has invested in Bitcoin. I don't know why this was now news. Here's the actual SEC filing, if you will, for it. But for some reason, the news is that Guggenheim has invested in Bitcoin. We went over this multiple other times before. Maybe time is quicker for us? I'm not really sure. It even says Guggenheim CIO reveals his firm has already bought Bitcoin for some private funds. Am I missing something? I'm pretty sure I have a video named like Guggenheim buying Bitcoin or Guggenheim in Bitcoin or something like that. So the news is that another gigantic conglomerate corporation, money fund manager, rich thing has purchased Bitcoin. They all have Bitcoin. They're all buying Bitcoin. They're working together in some sort of fashion to make sure that Bitcoin's price doesn't rise and even goes down so that they can accumulate more. This is what they want. They want to buy more for them. They don't care about you. The reason I have this channel is to let you know that they don't care about you, but I care about you. I want you to understand where this entire trend is going. A very big thank you. I keep seeing a lot of nice comments. People writing like, dude, thank you for telling me about this in 2017 and stuff like that. Yeah, that's why I'm here. I want you to understand what they are doing, what they're betting against the US dollar, and why they're dumping millions and hundreds of millions and billions of dollars into Bitcoin. We get this news every single day. So the news is, yeah, Guggenheim already bought Bitcoin. I'm shocked. I mean, I didn't see that one coming, simply because, news and all that stuff. He looks terrified. Anyway, that's the Guggenheim news. And without further ado, let's moving on. And to finish things off, in one of the more confusing news stories for my mind, it says a recent poll revealed that most Bitcoin investors would wait to see a 6-digit price before potentially disposing of their holdings. The cryptocurrency market has enjoyed the past several months with impressive gains, including all-time highs for Bitcoin and several more tokens. As such, a couple of crypto analysts initiated Twitter polls to ask the community when they plan to sell their positions and realize profits. I'm afraid of asking the people who follow me on Twitter this same question because I think it would hurt me inside if I heard the truth. The primary cryptocurrency is a bull run, quadrupled, dabbled 10,000. Where's the point? So Josh Rager was asking, he said, how much Bitcoin from your holdings do you plan to sell at the next peak high? Assuming another multi-year bear market will follow with an 80% pullback, 34% said they would sell 75 to 100% of their Bitcoin holdings. I cannot and will not ever tell you what to do with your money, but just understand, when Bitcoin passed by $13,000, there were a lot of people who sold because they were told by other analysts that it was going to go back to 10,000. They were never able to buy back at 10,000 ever again. When Bitcoin hit 20,000, a number of people sold because they were expecting Bitcoin to fall back down to 12,000 because that's what the articles were saying. When Bitcoin hit 25,000, people were expecting it to go back to 17,000, which it did not do. You see where I'm kind of going with this? I made a video before that basically explains that you can buy everything on this planet with Bitcoin. Anything you can think of, you can buy with Bitcoin. The video is somewhere out there. I don't know exactly where it is. The point to be made was that if we have indications that Bitcoin is going to be a world reserve currency, a lot of people are going to be selling off their Bitcoin, hoping for a price drop, and will never, ever, ever be able to buy that much Bitcoin again. If we're getting indications that Bitcoin is going to $288,000 this year, or even $300,000, it is going to be a day when we hit 100K and tons of people try to sell off, and then we bounce back up in price, and these people can never, ever have that much again. But I mean, by all means, listen, 100K is a lot of money. If you can live your best life with 100K and put a down payment on a house or buy a ranch or buy a horse or whatever you think you need in your life for 100K, by all means, do so. There's a reason why institutions are going long on Bitcoin and not short on Bitcoin. And I mean that in like the actual term of the word, like the actual literal meaning of it. I'm afraid of asking this question. Just simply because, you know, I know a lot of people watching this channel, even in the cryptocurrency space, are going to sell their Bitcoin. And in the following years, if Bitcoin hits 1 million, 1.5 million, even at the end of this decade, and these people have 1/10 of how much they had before, it's going to be a bit devastating. But once again, it's your money, so live your life. You got to do what you got to do. But I saw this and was like, anyway, that's the selling Bitcoin news. Devastating. And without further ado, let's moving on. As always, a very special thank you to my Patreon supporters. Professor Wally from Gunbot University, Barebones Mining, Troy Allgood, Space Case, Need a Miracle, Crypto Stahl, George Montoya, Wiselink, Not TMI, Conan Don't Skip Leg Day, Snacky Chan, Tolik, Banana, Auspicious Agile and Blockchain, Navarro Williams, David James, Attila the Han, Yasha Harari, Oscar Maldonado, Utopia 569, Moonman High, XRP, Joshua Vineyard, Martin Steuer, Nostromo, John Sarson, The Animal Reader, A Bibliophobia, Todd Mullis, Adam Graysick, Moher Maroni, Master Ventures in Thailand, Jared Schneider, Wise Night Owl, 242 to the World, Bankroll, The Network Crypto Artist, Cole D3D, Damien, Set Suna, Richie Richard III, Vlad the Impaler, Paxis, Nick Mangialavori, Anthony Charles, Jim Gardner, Jimmy Fox, Minting Coins, Miller Hitch Test Every Day, and Kyle Skips Leg Day. Yes to Crypto, Buddy McBoatface, Anytime Fitness, Monk's Corner Staff, ARF Medic 17, Bake Me a Cake, Tigger Machanisa, On Crypto with Lionel, Crayola Michelle, URL, and Bolero Bastos. Thank you all very, very much for your support. Thank you to all the new Patreon members. Thank you to everyone who left a thumbs up. Thank you to everyone who left a comment. Thank you to all the new subscribers. Thank you to everybody who's still here. I think that's everything. Yeah. And to all... What? Wait. All affiliate link clickers. There we go. I was like, what am I trying to... At the momento, Bitcoin is currently at $34,792 US. It is currently down by 6.55%. Here's that magnet dragging everything down because it is Bitcoin. Sometime over the evening, even before I started this video, XRP started pumping, and I'm not really sure why. I think there's just something behind the scenes where their Polkadot was falling rapidly first. And I think it was simply XRP trying to regain the 4th position. I don't think XRP is going to be taking over Tether anytime soon because Tether keeps tethering the amount of Tether in the market. But yes, everything is down. These are normal. I mentioned this on both channels. The market goes up and then it goes down. That's just simply how it works. But everything at the moment is in red. I'm not bothered, honestly. For those of you who have been asking for a dip or a lowering in prices, this may then be your time to be able to, whatchamacallit? Buy the dip. What was I thinking of? I think I'm just hungry and I was thinking of actual food. Anyway, that is going to do it for this video. I do hope that you all enjoyed. I do hope that you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it is absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching and or listening, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon. See